our final Coder Academy information session for 2023. And Merry Christmas to you all. Okay, so basically today we're going to be running through what you can expect if you join a Coder Academy bootcamp with us. We'll wait a little while just for people to, jump on and join. That's totally fine. In the meantime, what you could do is let us know where you're joining us from. So where it says chat, if you go to the chat button and put, to everyone, if you let us know where you're joining us from, that would be awesome. So my name's Lee. I'm one of the National Enrollment Advisors for Coder Academy. And today I'm joining you from swelteringly hot Sydney. So I hope you appreciate this hat because it is hot. So I'm joining you from Sydney, but where are you guys joining us from? Are you in Sydney, Melbourne, Brisbane, somewhere else entirely? We like to know this. Oh, welcome from WA. Nice to see you here. So pop in the chat where you're from. The live chat today should be a lively experience, as it might sort of sound like. You need to take full advantage of this and put any questions that you have into there. There's no question too big or small. There's no silly questions. Pop in there whatever it is that you would like to ask us today. So I'm going to start now by bringing on my colleague who's wearing a way better hat than me, Dallas Hill. He's going to come and join us and go through the through the housekeeping for the live chat. Just a couple of little things that you need to remember.
Cool. Thank you so much, Lee. Once again, my name is Dallas. I am one of the enrollment advisors here at Coder Academy as well, and I'm joining you from Brisbane. Now, Lee has actually said most of it already, to be fair. But yeah, look, the chat, utilize it today. You can go ahead and throw questions in there as we roll through. I'll do my best to answer them as we go. If there's a few more lengthy ones, then we will leave them to the end. We'll have a bit of a Q&A there. As mentioned previously, in the area that says to, make sure you change that from hosts and panelists to everyone so that everyone can see the questions and everyone can see the answers. So yeah, go ahead and do that. That'd be fantastic. So I'm going to jump off. I will see you guys in the chat. And Lee, take it away.
Thank you. So look, from here, basically we're going to take you through what you can expect if you join a boot camp with us at Coder Academy in 2024 and beyond. So I just saw Dallas's comment in the chat. Dallas, as he said, will be manning the live chat. Any questions you have, he's there to answer while I'm chatting. When I finish the presentation, Dallas and I will both join you on screen and we'll continue to answer any questions that have not already been answered, or any particularly great ones which sort of focus on pretty much frequently asked questions that we'd like to cover off at the end of the session. So allow me to share my screen. Always a fun moment. And give me a thumbs up or a yes in the chat if you can see the first part of my presentation, which says where coders are made. Can you see it? Oh, look at all those little emojis floating up. That's beautiful. Thank you very much, guys. Okay, so you've joined us today to, potentially change careers, maybe upskill. Maybe you're fresh out of high school even, but you're thinking about becoming a web developer. You want to learn how to code. You're in the right place. Before we begin, an acknowledgement of country and a welcome. So in the spirit of reconciliation, Coder Academy acknowledges the traditional custodians of country throughout Australia and their connections to land, sea and community. We pay our respects to the elders past and present and extend that respect to all Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander people today. Welcome. Here's who we are. That's me, Lee, and that's Dallas. So no surprises there. You have our contact details underneath, our mobile phone numbers and our emails. They'll come up again later in the chat, in the presentation. Dallas will probably throw them into the live chat later as well. We represent Coder Academy and we speak to people all around Australia about their interest in our courses, essentially. So what are you joining us for? Well, our Coder Academy offers a higher education diploma in IT. We are accredited, which is something really special. It allows us to not only offer fee help loans for the course, but it also allows you the opportunity to take what you've studied at Coda and credit it towards a bachelor's in computer science in the future, if you wish to do so. So it is a really great opportunity there. The work placement is such a golden opportunity as well. What is coding? Now, today, this presentation focuses on the very beginnings of everything, assuming that you maybe don't know very much about what it is to code, but it's just an idea for you. So if you already do know, just bear with us. We'll get to information that you've not kind of heard of a little later. Code's the language that's used to tell computers what to do. It's a set of instructions. It can be made to use websites and apps as well as to process data. And types of coders include software engineers, programmers, web developers, front-end developers, back-end developers, and full-stack developers. If you don't know what those terms mean, don't stress. We'll go over that in a moment. But all of these are accessible jobs for you, having completed a Coder Academy bootcamp. Front-end versus back-end. On the left, that's front-end. It's client-side. It's the pretty aesthetically pleasing website. It's the way that it appeals to you from, a visual perspective, basically. On the right is back end. It's systems. It's the way that things work. It's the control of all of the gestures and buttons and movement within a website. Some people really love front end. Others really love back end. Some people join us and they think they like one, but they leave loving the other. Don't be scared by all of that language there on the right. That's what you come to us to learn how to do, how to make. The coding languages that you will learn with us are HTML. Someone here needs a drink of water. That would be me. HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. So if you think of this as a human body, then HTML forms the bones, like the skeleton, the structure. CSS is the clothing, like the Santa hat, the glasses, and the t-shirt. And JavaScript is the actions, so the gestures, what it actually does, So these are the languages that you'd be using with us. What you need to do the course, you need a browser. No surprises there, really. You'll need a coding editor and you'll need a source code hosting platform. Who employs full stack developers? So full stack implies that, you know front end and back end, you can do the two, right? So these are the places where you could potentially end up working. You could end up in a role at an IT company. You could be working in retail. There's still an immense amount of work to be done in the retail sector. People moving their businesses online, their websites need work. That they might still have something which is fairly clunky, not very user-friendly. That's where you would come into play. Financial institutions, such as banks. So they need coders constantly to help with, access to superannuation, with ATMs, things like this. So you could be, if you're already coming from finance, which some people do to join us, then you could go back to finance, but working on a different side of things from a different perspective. And digital agencies, you could work for one of those too, and they provide a multitude of solutions to a multitude of different IT problems. So you could be working on those as well. The average salary that you can expect to make after a couple of years in the business is 120K, which is really fantastic. Like, you can get there very quickly. Leaving our bootcamp, you won't be on 120K, but you would be on 65 to 75K to start with, and have the possibility to move upward really very fast. So we know from chatting to some of our grads that it's possible to get to a six-figure salary within around 2 to 3 years. Obviously, that is dependent on, the size of the company that you end up working with, but the point is it's possible. And the other point is that is an average 120K. That also means there's a lot more than 120K per year to be had in this industry as well. It's definitely an industry for growth. Recent articles that have been published have stated that there's a huge shortage in the skill set needed in IT. Like, we need more people in this industry. So it's a great time for you to take a course to upskill and join the industry yourself. So growth is 30% over the next 5 years. That's significant. Why do you want to learn how to code? Now, I'm not going to read this slide because there's a lot of information on here, but some of the reasons that you might want to do it are that you've hit the ceiling of what you can learn and what you can earn where you are currently. Maybe you're a bit bored, things aren't kind of very stimulating for you, you're going through the motions. That's a good reason to learn something new and to make a change, right? Maybe you just love problem solving and you feel that you're not getting enough of that in your life at the moment. You could be learning to code because you want to unleash your creativity in a different way, because there's a lot of room to be creative in coding. You could do it to improve your cognitive function. A lot of people like the idea of their brain being very busy. To collaborate and work in teams to create solutions, and just to embrace technology. Maybe you just have always loved computers, but you've never worked with them. Other reasons that you may join us, which I'm not sure are listed here, but maybe you work in a job which is very, very physical, and maybe it's outdoorsy and you've been doing it for a while. Maybe you don't want to do it anymore. It's getting a bit hard, a bit tough on the old body. You might want to sort of move to, a nice air-conditioned office and a computer. It could be that, obviously coupled with your curiosity about coding. So our boot camps are ideal pretty much for everybody, but, we can sort of classify it in 3 main groups. So we see career changes. They're our biggest contingent of every cohort. They are the majority. And look, people decide to change careers at all different times. So that can happen mid-20s all the way through to their 50s. And, the only thing stopping you from making a career change in the end is you. You have to be prepared to take the jump, make the leap. It is brave, but yeah, come join us and do it. It will be very rewarding for you if you have the time to dedicate towards it. It can only be a good thing if you're passionate about it and you have the time to do it. Maybe you're here to upskill. Maybe you've already worked in IT before, and you're kind of looking to just get some skills in making, web-based applications, for example. So it could be this that you're here for. In this case, some people take the course and they don't even opt for the industry placement. They've already got some connections and they move on from there. Or you might want to join us as an alternative to uni, as a fast track way to get yourself into industry and making money. It's an awesome idea. I wish that these things existed when I was leaving high school. I really do. Yeah, I think it's amazing. Such a good choice. So what it looks like is that we expect that each week you're going to have a component of live virtual online classes, and that will be coupled with many hours of facilitated self-study, which will be bolstered by our academic support. So we'll go more into how that looks in a mere moment, but that essentially is what makes this experience. Live classes, self-study time, which is supported 6 days a week. So let's have a look at how that looks. So here are our boot camps. Just a very sort of, brief overview here. The next 2 that we've got coming up, we've got the standard starting on the 26th of February. It's a 10-month course. The next accelerated 6-month course happening on the 25th. They both have a 4-week industry placement optional on finishing them. They are both 100% a virtual classroom space. Timetables we'll go through in a mere moment. You will find support hubs on campuses in Brisbane, Sydney, and Melbourne. You finish with a diploma of IT. As I said, we're accredited. That can be put towards a Bachelor's of Computer Science. The cost is $22,250. Fee help loans are available if you're an Australian citizen. Now, if you took our accelerated bootcamp, it is extremely intense. So you really need to have the right set of circumstances in order to take this one. 35-hour per week commitment. Basically, it becomes your full-time job. In the green there, you can see the live classroom times. So they're the scheduled times that we expect that you are going to be available and present and participating in class. 10 o'clock to 1:45 p.m. from Monday to Thursday. Outside of that time, that's where your facilitated self-study hours comes in. 23 additional hours towards getting through all of your coursework, coding resolutions, and, your theory module, everything that's been explained to you in those live virtual classroom spaces that you need to do and get through, that's the time that you're taking to actually do it. Now, you have academic support available to you Monday to Saturday, 9 to 5 on Discord, and you also have the option to go into one of our campuses in Sydney, Melbourne, or Brisbane, to the Coda Student Hub and chat to a real person, one of our educators who's sitting there, ready to answer your questions and answering your questions all around Australia 6 days a week, basically. But you can have that option of having a face-to-face chat with them. You just need to book their time. Not an issue at all. So that's how the accelerated class looks, 35 hours per week. Standard 10-month course, 21 hours per week. Note, both of these courses are considered full-time courses of study by the government. So if you are looking to get a student allowance from the government, it is entirely possible to do so, as they are both considered full-time. So standard bootcamp has been designed in order to fit better around possible working situations. Now, a lot of people will take the course while still working full-time, and they make it work for them. And they do so by being super organized. That's really the best way forward. You just need to make sure you've got the time, decide when you're going to do things, and stick to it. So your live virtual component for the standard course comprises of 8 hours per week. They fall on a Tuesday and Thursday evening from 7 till 9 p.m. and on a Saturday morning from 9 until 1:30. If you miss any of these sessions, they are all recorded for your, future viewing purposes. If you need to watch and rewatch something, if one of the concepts is a bit much, that's what they're there for. So you can kind of do that in your own time. We want you to be there for as many of these as you possibly can, though, right? I'm just saying it's entirely feasible that you might go to a wedding on a Saturday and you're not going to be able to attend class. One-offs here and there, that's fine. If you think you're going to miss a regular session, that could be more problematic. You need to have a chat with us. We can sort of work it out with the academic team, whether that's going to be a no-go for you or whether it will be okay. It does vary case to case sometimes. So with the standard bootcamp, an additional 13 hours minimum of facilitated self-study time towards getting through all of your work and such. The way that the bootcamp is broken down, it's in 3 terms. You start off learning HTML and CSS and you build a portfolio website. You start to do that, right? So by the end of the course, you're going to have a beautiful portfolio that you can then take into job interviews with you as you kind of take those first steps into industry, which is really nice. That's us getting you prepared and industry ready. You will have a look at Python programming and you'll build a terminal application as well in term 1. In the second term, you'll move on to Python with Flask. That's the framework that we use with Python. You will do discrete mathematics. Don't freak out, nothing to be scared of. You'll learn about deployment. You'll make a full stack application in Flask. In term 3, you'll learn JavaScript, React. You'll build a full stack web application for a real client or that solves a real world solution. Then finishing that, you have the option to take an industry placement where you can get placed with one of our industry partners and complete a 4-week placement program. And we see that most people who join us opt for that. And the criteria to join that are entirely achievable. They're very reasonable, so much so that we have seen recent past cohorts with, 100% of the people who were eligible to join, they all got placed. It was, perfectly. It was amazing. And there was like a lot. It was a huge amount of people that actually got placed. Really, really good. So our grads are working at some of these places here currently. That's not limited to just this page. That's just an example of some of the names, that we actually work with. They can be small, medium, large. They can be, varying in size, but our graduates are working at these places at the moment. People who have studied with us now. So Gray Joyner, he kind of is a good example of someone who had a stereotype in his head about what it would mean to become a coder. And he kind of had that stereotype completely shattered and broken within weeks of finishing, within weeks of starting the course. He was like, oh, okay, this is really different to what I kind of thought it would be. Just the diversity of people that come to coding in itself, that's a huge surprise. You name an industry, people are coming from there, and everyone starts on a level playing field. We assume that all of you are starting at the beginning. Always a good thing to have something under your belt that, it's always going to be useful if you've done a few coding tutorials just to check that you actually do enjoy this. That's always useful, but not necessary, not exactly necessary. Yeah, so we assume you don't know anything and we go from there. Tia is a great example of someone who'd gone from a job where it was very much kind of rinse and repeat. She was a cleaner. So she was working in a job where, you go through the motions. She wasn't very stimulated mentally, and she moved into, studying coding, and she's now a web developer at a really nice company. And look, she found the whole experience to be really life-changing, and now she works in a job which she finds much more fulfilling for herself than the cleaning position was that she did previously. Gisele, she moved from manufacturing to being a junior consultant at Alembic. So she took our accelerated bootcamp. She had zero knowledge to start with. She's off working in the industry. And yeah, she found the internship hugely valuable as well. So one of the things that you can do, if you're interested in joining us, but you'd like to try for, I guess, some kind of a discounted way into the course, the only way to get it cheaper is actually to apply for and be successful in gaining our diversity in tech scholarship. So we encourage you to do it, like really do try for it. Why not? This scholarship aims to, basically to get people who represent diversity moving into tech. And what we need is for you to tell us what makes you diverse, and that could be many, many different things, and to stake your case for that. So give some really good, clear examples as to why you are and what's happened to make you that way. And that's a really good start with your application. Now, there's more information that can be found on our website. I can also drop, or even Dallas could, like the diversity in tech flyer into the live chat for you guys to take a look at as well. If you win, you get 50% off the price. It is open to all domestic students. And yeah, we really do encourage you to try for it. If you are interested in joining one of these, you have up until 2 weeks before the start of the course to get your application in. Yeah. Okay, the process to apply with us, you apply on one of the application. You can either go to the website basically and apply, or Dallas might chuck a link to apply into the live chat for you. You fill in the one-page application form. We enroll you and you begin. And it can be very, very quick, this process. You can get it done in half a day. It's very, very fast. So what I have here now, you've heard it from me. You'll hear it from Dallas as well, why we think, you should join. but here's a video from some students who speak about their experience with us, what they thought before joining us, what they thought after. So let's just have a watch and listen and see what they have to say.
The pace and like the content that we learn, it seems there's not a lot of the university fluff that would be there. Like the course is very sort of streamlined, like exactly what you need to know, and it's all incredibly practical.
The company that I was working at, that was a startup, all of like the really high up managers, the CTO, were all pretty favorable about Coda. My cousin's brother had interns from Coda as well, so it was probably hearing good things from people.
Everybody's expectations are going to be different. My expectations were a lot higher than when I got there, but in hindsight, like now that I've finished the course and I'm in my internship, the way that the course is structured is very similar to when you're like in the industry.
Sort of circling around a sales job, and I really needed to make the switch, and Coder Academy came along. It was 10 months, it was intensive, it was part-time, and so it fit into my life schedule essentially to be able to upskill. But I always knew I was going to upskill into tech.
The internship was a huge draw, and also the time span. So I was going to be able to do it in a short period of time, and provided I did well, then I'd be given the opportunity to get some real world experience before I went job hunting.
Instituting that sort of sense of camaraderie in the class. The knowledgeability, professionalism of my lecturers has been fantastic, and the pace of the course has been great as well. So I've always moved faster than my education, so this is like a pleasant challenge.
I did know fairly instantly when before I entered, started doing that little bit of HTML, and I'm a very creative person. I love creating things and seeing them come to life. And the funny thing about coding is it seems like this really logical thing, and it totally is, but within those constraints that you're sort of given, it's actually quite creative, and not even just on the front end either. Like, I came into Coda thinking I'm going to be like this designer front end guy, and I left obsessed with like functionality and back end and automation, and there's so much creativity, like even just in that.
Oh, sorry. So that was some of our ex-Coda people letting you know their thoughts. As you can kind of hear from them, there's a lot of surprises when you actually join us. Like, they kind of all had some kind of a concept of what it was going to be like, and that kind of was broken for them and changed once they came in. So I guess really just come to us with an open mind about what it's going to be like, and that's how you can definitely get the most out of it once you start. We're going to be running another one of these sessions in January on the 18th, which is a Thursday, 6 p.m. And that'll give you an opportunity to actually meet a couple of our graduates who'll be coming back to share with you a day in their life of where they're working currently. So they're going to sort of talk you through what kind of projects they're working on, what their day-to-day looks like as someone, who's basically in a junior role. So think about joining us. The QR code is there if you'd like to join us again in January for a refresher on this information, and then to meet some grads who've been there, done that, who you will have the opportunity to ask questions to as well. And we encourage you to do so. So please join us. Failing, joining us right now, you can find the link on our website as well very easily. No worries at all. And here is a little avatar of Dallas and myself encouraging you to please call us. We love chatting with you. And, you know, it's great sometimes to just have the option to talk about your personal circumstances, your personal responsibilities in life that you need to work a boot camp around. Is it going to work for you? Maybe not now, maybe later. Like, we can chat with you about what's going on and whether it is a good move for you to join us or not for accelerated or standard, like what's happening with you, and what kind of barriers may you be facing in, you know, making a decision like this, which is a big decision. So we're here to help. And I think that's the end of my presentation. Thank you very much for listening. And I will just stop sharing my screen now and invite Dallas back on. Oh, look, here he is.
Hello.
Hi. How was
Good.
the live chat?
It was good. It was good. It was pretty chill.
Yeah.
No, thank you, Omar. Thank you. Yeah, look, there weren't that many questions. But you know, they were good questions. But yeah, look, there is one question actually that came through moments ago through the Q&A section. And that is there a census date for student to opt out so they don't have to pay full fee? So to basically elaborate on how, yeah, basically there are census dates because we're accredited, our subjects are university level, we have census dates that occur, okay? Our boot camps are broken down into 3 terms. There is a census date per term. So the census date, let's say it's roughly a week after the start date, okay? A week after, a week and a half after. Anyway, there is a census date. And basically, if you withdraw prior to the census date, there will be no financial penalty, okay, for that particular term. So yeah, that's pretty much how it works. Hopefully that answers your question.
Just to go a little bit further to that, I'm just going to see if I can, I'll just add like the February calendar and maybe the March one too, to the live chat. And that actually has the census date. So you can see the exact census dates per term. There's 3 of them. Yeah, they're there to protect your financial decision, as Dallas basically just pointed out. So I'm just going to I'll put the March one in there as well. Yes.
Cool,
Okay.
yeah. Sweet. And Felicity asks, is the Diversity in Tech the only scholarship available? Yes, it is. It's the only scholarship we have available right now. There's one available per intake, and it gives you 50% off the course fees. And that one actually it's available for application after you have applied and been accepted into the bootcamp itself. Hopefully that answers your question, Felicity.
Yes, it's that time of the year, isn't it? Thanks, Felicity.
Cool.
Will the slides? Oh, we don't actually send the slide deck out, but what you do receive is a recording of this session. So if you would like to go back and see anything in particular, you will be able to do so in the recording. Yeah.
Yeah.
Thanks, Jessica.
And we also send out emails that have a bunch of information, you know, so everything's going to be there for you to peruse as well. Yeah. Yeah,
absolutely. Any other questions? Because we do have quite a bit of time left, guys. You're welcome, Jessica. Yeah. Any questions about the industry placement? Any questions about fee help loans?
Osman's got a question here as well. Hey guys, if you could throw your questions into the chat and not use the Q&A. I should have been clear about that earlier, but that'd be really helpful because I keep missing them. So Osman asks, does Coder Academy offer any career services or job placement assistance post completion of the course? How does the Academy help in preparing for job interviews and building a professional network in the tech industry? Lee, would you like to have a crack at that?
Oh gosh, that's a big question. Can you read it to me again? Sorry.
So does Coder Academy offer any career services or job placement assistance post completion of the course? We'll just do that part first.
Okay, cool. So look, basically what you are embarking on is a journey to become industry ready. So within the course, you're going to have this rapport and this relationship with our partnerships team, who are going to take you through a series of mock interviews. They're going to help you fix your LinkedIn profile, your resume, plus you're building this beautiful digital portfolio. They're also going to be surveying you essentially to ask about you as a person, you as a student in the class, what you like, don't like, what you're good at, not as good at, like strengths and weaknesses, what you like to do outside of class. And then that information is then going to inform where they're going to try and place you with one of our partners. So, you know, if you're a person who's into food, nutrition, they might try and place you with U Foods, and you've been great at front end during the course, they might try and place you with them, right? So once you've completed that industry placement, you'll have the connection, you know, to your peers from the class, to alumni post joining us, and you'll have the support of them. But our connection to helping you find work finishes there. We've done everything we can at that point to make you industry ready. At that point, we say, fly free, go and find yourself a role, and you'll be ready to do it. So no, we don't offer ongoing career service after you've finished your internship. That's where it finishes. We have to draw the line somewhere, right? But you will find ongoing support through your peer network. Some of them have, you know, their Discord channels open for a very, very long time after the course is actually finished, and they continue to communicate. They tell each other about job opportunities as well. So like that is an ongoing source of connection and networking there as well. I hope that's helpful.
I mean, also just to add to that, you know, we deliver education on full stack web development, and full stack web development is one of the more sought after developer roles in the industry right now. And there is a shortage of developers. So there's plenty of work out there. So don't stress about that.
Cool. So we finished, the question was answered in total. I didn't.
Yeah, you did. You
Okay.
spoke about the second half anyway, so I just didn't read it. Yeah.
Awesome.
Cool.
Okay. Felicity asked, is the placement online or in person? It's a good question. Do you want that one, Dylan?
Yeah, sure. So it is delivered. So basically the placement can be either or. All right. So ultimately when it comes down to it, you know, the tech industry being at the forefront of you know, remote work and these sort of things, that's going to happen as well. So for the most part, a lot of companies we find are sort of leaning back into in person, coming into offices, but they're not all going to be like that. There's going to be, obviously, but a lot of partnering companies that are all over Australia. We have a lot of students that are joining us from all over Australia as well. And, you know, some of those industry placements, they may have to be remote. And some of them, you know, just may end up being remote. Even if you happen to live in a major city with a lot of tech companies surrounding you, you may end up, you know, working for a tech company in a different city. So yeah, it could be either or.
Omar asked, are the 4-week placements full-time? And the answer is majority yes. As you get closer to that period of time actually occurring and those conversations actually start to happen to facilitate these placements, you know, actually occurring, there may be some wiggle room as far as, you know, making the placement a little longer and a little more part-time rather than full-time 4 weeks, but it's not a common occurrence. Generally, what we find is when someone is joining the boot camp, really what you've got from the time of, you know, actually first finding out about us is usually like, it's usually around a year of time until you're going to actually be doing that placement, which is an awful lot of time to organize your life in order to actually be able to do it, to have those conversations with your employers if you need to talk to your family about it. Like, it'll be quite a way off, right? So yeah, generally we try to get 4 weeks full time, and that's just the best case scenario, really. Doing a job 4 weeks full time is, yeah, kind of more of a reality, the situation in reality, really. Ben asks, thank you, Ben, what should we do right now to prepare ourselves for the course?
Yeah, do some coding. So yeah, I could throw some links in here, actually. I've got some links to throw in the chat.
So Dallas will throw some links in the chat to some free tutorials that you can take. Look, what you can do, honestly, now that you know pretty much the languages that you're going to be taught with us, so your HTML and CSS and Python and JavaScript, you can go and take some free tutorials online. There's a multitude of information out there, right? Go and have a play. Your cup will not ever runneth over. Like you're going to have a lot of information if you do this. You'll feel like it's, you know, not completely fresh when you come into the course. But, you know, whatever you've learned, it'll be useful, but it will also run out quickly because you're going to be learning an awful lot and very quickly as well. It never hurts to go and have a look and, you know, go and have a play. If you actually have never coded, looked at code, you know, before, then probably best to do that before you take any further steps.
Yeah, you want to get a bit of a taste. What I will recommend is don't get too crazy with what you're going to and play with. Term 1 with us is going to focus on HTML, CSS, and Python. Stick with those. Just go and play with some HTML, CSS, and maybe even Python. Okay. You don't want to go and play with, you know, 10 different languages because you're not going to remember anything from any of them. So just play with a couple. Yeah, like we said, when you jump on board with us, we're going to teach you everything from the ground up anyway. So, you know, whether it's all felt like just crazy jargon and you haven't taken anything on with some of yourself sort of, you know, teaching, that's totally fine because we'll teach everything in a way that you'll understand.
Alan is asking, do you have any students that come out of high school into the program? Yes, Alan, we do. Absolutely. Yeah. It's an amazing move to make so young. Like it would put you into the industry as a very young man and have you earning an awful lot of money at a very young age. I wish that I made this decision. Go forth and conquer. Okay.
Yeah.
Felicity says, and Felicity's adding to the comment before about industry placements here, that she's regional in Western Australia, so it would be hard for her to take the industry placement in person. And that's very much noted, Felicity. So for students who are in regional centres or, you know, other states on the other side of the country, yes, they do take remote placements. So in those cases, we often see students will take a remote placement, then they will join their industry, you know, they'll do their industry placement. I'm so inarticulate, sorry. They'll do their industry placement and then they might go on to their first role in tech remotely. So they do the course remotely, the placement remotely, and then they have a remote position as their first role in tech. There we go. I got it out.
And then they'll use the TV remote to turn on the TV. Sorry. Anyway. Awesome. There's no more questions. Guys, if you have any more questions, absolutely get them out of your system now. We don't want you to leave with any questions unanswered. So feel free to do that.
Yes. Please do. We still have minutes.
Whole minutes.
Whole minute. Please put any other questions in there. But yeah, thank you for joining us during your lunch breaks and stuff as well. Most appreciated.
For sure.
Yeah. Looks like there's no more questions.
Yeah, that might be it. Well.
Oh, good one.
Here we go.
Here's a few more. Yeah, very good.
Okay, so Jessica asks, what is the outlook for career changes over 40 years old? Are employers really as willing to take you on as they would be a younger person? Well, should I answer this?
Yeah.
Cool. So being someone who is roughly 300 years old, I'll be able to answer this. No, look, honestly, you almost have more of a chance if you're a little bit older. There has been, over the years, tech is evolving. And the tech industry has sort of like taken note and realized that they're not really gaining anything extra by hiring all these young cookie cutter developers that have gone through high school, gone through university, and then come out the other end as a developer. They don't have anything sort of outside of that to be able to offer. So to be honest, a lot of tech companies are taking kindly to career changes. People are a little bit older, people have got a bit more life experience. Provided you have the skill set to do your job as a developer, you know, no one, you won't get turned away. You're definitely going to be hired if you can do your job well. And they really do appreciate people bringing something new to the table, a different perspective. So yeah, career changes and people who are a little bit older are definitely valued a lot. So not a problem there at all. Don't stress about that.
Yeah, there's definitely a lot of diversity age-wise in tech. It's
Yep.
so nice like that. So yeah, don't let that be the thing that stops you, Jessica.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool. Omar, thanks. Catch you on the flippity flop. All right, cool. Awesome.
If you guys don't have any further questions, then I guess it's time that we wish you a very happy and safe festive season and encourage you to give us a ring before the end of next week. If you're keen to have a chat about your situation and your personal circumstances in coming to IT, very happy to chat with you. And look, we're still many, many weeks away from our first start date next year of the 26th of February. You still have time to think about it, ask more questions, join us to meet our grads on the 18th of January. We'd love to have you there. Yeah, and get to ask them, like, how was your Coder Bootcamp experience? What did you like about it? What are you working on now? What do you like about the role that you're actually in currently? So that could be quite useful. Yeah, but yeah, I think that's it. Are we done?
I think we're done. Everyone, have a merry festive season.
Yeah.
And yeah, look, reach out to us like immediately if you want to chat, because I got nothing on. Please call me.
He does. He's plenty busy. Don't even.
Yeah, I got so much work to do. But please call me because I like to chat.
Yeah, call us. Yeah. Bye, guys.
Bye.
Happy holidays to you too. Thanks for listening.